What's up, buddy? It's been a minute since you've been on the show. Feels like
Up,
I've been
pal?
doing a solo dolo podcast.
Dude, busy times here. Still finishing up school. Hey, glad to be home though, let me tell you. Glad to be back
Absolutely.
back in the land.
For
So,
sure. For shizzle. And you've made it to a couple games since you've been back.
made it to yep. Been to a few games. I was there this past Wednesday and Friday, sweating my balls off. But let me tell you
Yeah.
though, it was a good week. It was I mean, can't really complain though. So,
Yeah. How unbearable. I went goddamn, that's a lot of baseball. Oh, get this out. There we go. Um, I went Tuesday, Wednesday, no Thursday because I was a day game. So Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it was 90 degrees every time.
all week, dude.
So that's a lot of heat. That's a lot of heat for baseball. But yeah, I mean, both games that I went to were W's.
Dude,
No,
every game I've been to
no, the
this year has
first
been
game
a
I went to,
W.
we got fucking blown out. So that Tuesday game sucked. Wednesday was good. Friday was a good game. Yesterday was great, and they're playing right now. Obviously, where you guys are listening to this after we sweep the Blue Jays. But yeah, they're playing right now. We are currently up. Off the rip, I would like to talk about um, David Fry getting pulled super quick into the second inning. Said that he has elbow inflammation. Um, I wonder if that's more so. Okay, we are playing the Orioles next series, and we have a long stretch of baseball where we don't have a break. I mean, realistically, we should have a stretch like of baseball like this because we haven't played as many games as everyone else in the league, so we need to catch up. But I hope it's not serious. I mean, he's one of our better hitters. Um,
All-Star Fry, baby.
I hope. I just hope he's not not too hurt. Elbow stuff, especially obviously elbow stuff and with pitchers, is not ideal. But he's not a pitcher, so I wonder if they're just sitting him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, you kind of mentioned like elbows with pitchers, obviously more of the big thing, but I think just like elbow in baseball in general, honestly, like, I mean, I think if it's inflammation, my thing behind it is I think they're trying to just play it safe with him more or less. Just they don't want to make it worse. I mean, because he's still, I mean, well, he's all over the field. I mean, he's been there at catcher. Obviously, he's hitting really well for us. Like, you don't want to keep aggravating something where you're going to keep swinging and like
Yeah,
extending your arm. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
just something along those lines. I bet you they're more like safety precautions because, like you said, I mean, we do have the Orioles coming up, so
Yeah, we've
you
got
gotta
a good
be
stretch of
healthy as we
baseball
can.
coming up. You have to have all hands on deck for this stretch of baseball.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, let's take a look at that. So we play the Orioles for 3 games starting tomorrow at 6:10. And then you go to Kansas City for 4 games. That's a home run for Stephen Kwan, baby.
Another one.
Let's go.
Get him to
Let's
the All-Star
go.
game.
Yeah, that should be your left fielder for the All Star game. So you have, damn, I'm happy we got that on the show. That's pretty raw.
That was lit.
Um, so you start a 3 game series against Baltimore tomorrow. All of those games are at 6:30. Let's see. So do we have pitching scheduled for these games? It seems that we do. So we have Bybee going tomorrow. I'd say this is a really important start for him. Obviously, these last 2 starts have been important for him, and these last 2 starts have been fucking great for him. I mean, he went 11 strikeouts. Um, the not last start, but the second to last start, and then the last start he had, the game that we were at, he had 12, right? 12 or 11. I think it was 12.
12.
So, oh damn, that hurts. Um, yeah, Freeman just took a foul ball off of his foot.
Off
Never like
the
to see
ankle.
that. That shit has to hurt. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is probably the biggest competition that Bybee has had to face, I would like to say, in the Orioles. Um, It's a good competition for him. This stretch of baseball right here is going to prove a lot of this team. Obviously, it being the Orioles, and the Orioles, you know, just like ate and shit out the Yankees, and the Yankees are a good fucking baseball team. So I mean, we're going to be getting to some serious competition here, and I think obviously I'm not saying it's a World Series preview because who long fucking season,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that this could possibly be a really good test against a really good National League team.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's gonna be good competition. You said that's 3 games, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, don't be wrong. Don't get me wrong. It'd be nice to get a sweep against them, but I mean, like you said, there's a lot of baseball. You ain't getting every single game of the season.
No, definitely not.
But I mean, like, I think with the momentum that we're rolling with right now, just as a whole in general, it's been kind of insane. Like we kind of talked about this earlier. Like I feel like we've never really seen this like in my and your time. Like
Other than
specifically,
2016, no.
yeah, not since like I mean the World Series basically.
Yeah,
So it's
not
like,
since those runs of literal history. In 2016, you lose in Game 7, and then the year after that, you go on a 22-game winning streak. Like since then, we haven't had good baseball.
yep. And then and we've talked about it too. Like we didn't know what this season was going to look like. With Francona leaving and new manager, and we knew that hitting was going to be a big thing. And honestly, I think we've exceeded those expectations along hitting wise. I think that is the strength point of our team now is that we are hitting the ball like crazy. So
Yeah, no, that's a great point because I mean, how many times have just like off air have we talked like you said, Tito's gone, and I mean, obviously he's an all like a Hall of Fame manager, like first ballot Hall of Fame manager, and I mean, last year, oh my god, that's crazy. Last
mm,
year we had such a young team, and with a Hall of Fame manager, I mean, we played like dog shit. I mean, that's the easiest way to put it. We played like fucking dog shit. And then he leaves. We have the youngest roster in baseball, and we get Stephen Vogt, who never managed the baseball team before.
young guy.
Young dude, well, relatively as a manager, and has the youngest team in baseball with a couple of good players on the team. To me, that is not a recipe for success in baseball, especially when it comes to the fact that this
In
is
Cleveland too.
yes, in a very small market where it is a pay to play league, considering that we are like 22nd when it comes to payroll. Who would have thought that we would have a decent lead in the AL Central, and we would be the second best record in the American League with all of those things I just listed? Um, yeah, I'd think you're smoking crack if you told me that when we
Seriously.
got this manager, and we are playing some of the best baseball I have seen since 2016.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, like, this is the most games I've been to in a year so far, and we're not even at the midpoint of the season. Like,
Now,
personally, like, I mean, besides like 2016, I would usually like tend to go to like maybe like 1, 2 baseball games a season, but now it's like, dude, like I've been to 5 and we're not even at the All-Star break. It's just like they keep the attendance rolling. I think it's just like the whole atmosphere within,
yeah,
downtown I mean, dude, like Friday. So Friday, that parking garage that's connected to like Rocket Mortgage and stuff like that.
yeah,
So that's where I usually have parked for like sporting events and stuff besides taking the Rapid with you. But
yeah,
they had that thing closed on Friday and they said it was full. Do I believe it? Maybe not, but like it's the fact
yeah,
that they say it's like it was full and we still got there like an hour and a half before the first pitch. Dude, we were like taking 10 minutes just to like get around the ballpark just to find like a parking spot basically. It was nuts.
yeah, dude. But yes, I mean the last two nights. were like sold out. I mean, when they say it's sold out, yeah, sure. I'm sure all tickets were bought. But I mean, you were there Friday and you could definitely tell that like there were seats open. Like it
Oh,
was not a
100%.
sellout. Yesterday, that was a sold out crowd. Like it was 95 fucking degrees outside. And this is what a first place AL Central team that is playing really well is going to draw. They're going to draw sold out crowds of some of the best fans in baseball. And yesterday, I mean, it was like a home run derby for like both teams. The runs
Yeah.
that they scored were off of home runs. And we were hitting, I mean, Quan had a home run, Jose had a home run, Bo Naylor had a home run, Daniel Snowman had a home run. And we were not hitting like this last year. Everyone, yeah, go ahead and say that there's a fucking wind tunnel in Progressive Field. If you think there's a wind tunnel in Progressive Field, you're fucking stupid. Because why are we the only team that are hitting home runs in the stadium? Like you have opposing teams are allowed to hit the baseball too. There are two sides to an inning. Okay.
Yeah.
Why aren't they hitting just as good as we are? No one wants to give the Cleveland Guardians credit for how well they're hitting. And I'm here for it because when we make that underdog run in October, it's going to be legendary. And I'm not saying that we're going to go to the World Series, but I'm saying that there's a possibility. I always bring up the Rangers from last year. They were not a special team. They didn't even win their division, and they won the World Series. And that's why October is so great because, sure, and for regular season, it's a lot of games. You have to win a decent amount of them to get there. But once you get there, you have a chance. And that's what I like about the format of postseason baseball because you have best of 3, best of 5, best of 7. So that's when you have that chance for those underdogs. How easy is it to rip off 2? I mean,
Mhm.
you get 2 good pitchers. Say we'll get into Gavin Williams, but I'm gonna say if Gavin Williams is good, or say that we make a trade at the deadline and we get a starting pitcher. So you get a good starting pitcher and then a bye night. You get 1-2 and you move on to the ALDS. Like it is so that shit happens so quick. And if you get there, you have a chance. I mean, let's be real. If we had this roster in 2021 or 22, oh shit, that's a fucking nuke. Oh, I hate that camera angle, dude. I hate that camera angle. That shit made it look like it was going out of the fucking park. Josh Naylor, 20th home run of the season, 409 feet, 102-mile-an-hour velocity.
Dude, he was on my parlay yesterday. Why couldn't he hit the ball yesterday on his birthday?
Dude. But yeah, so that postseason baseball it's pretty awesome. I hope we get to experience it. Obviously, it's June 23rd, so we have a decent amount of time before October hits. But we're in a pretty good spot. If we finish 500, we basically win the AL Central. Let's not finish 500. Let's continue and dominate teams. I mean, now it's 6-3 against the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays aren't a good team. But you've got a good team on the road next. So that's a good test. And hopefully you win a series or at least make it a competitive series like you did in Atlanta, where there was a good opportunity to win that series. Just things happen. So you have to see what happens with that, like I said. But yeah, we're heading into a time where it's time to get competitive. Not like we haven't been playing competitive baseball, but now you're getting ready to play some competitive teams. So I think, yeah, it's time to really lock in here. And we just had I mean, obviously, you can't really say you have an important series in June, but we just had an important series against Seattle. Now that we won that series, we have the tiebreaker against them. So like not all games matter, but all games matter when it comes to tiebreakers, especially when it comes to teams in your division, which we play after the Orioles with a 4-game series against Kansas City. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that. But Gavin Williams had a start Friday. I believe he threw like 50 something pitches. His velocity was at 97 miles an hour, which we love to see. Struck out 3 or 4, and I don't think he had any runs. So with that start, what do you before the trade deadline? Do you think we get him up?
Um,
I guess before the
what
All
day is
Star
the
break,
trade
do you think we
deadline?
get him
Yeah,
back? Trade
exactly.
deadline's at the end of July. I meant to say All Star break, so that's like 2 weeks.
Mm, I think so. I mean, I think, I mean, well, the thing with baseball, I mean, like we all know this. It's like you play a game almost every other day or every day. So it's like, I think, you give them a couple more, maybe like another game or so. What was it with the Clippers, right? That's
Yeah,
who
so
he was with. Or was he with the
he's
Rubber Ducks?
he was in Akron, which is
Okay.
why I think they might try to bring him back
Yeah.
because they're keeping him close to home.
Yeah.
So
Okay, then yeah. Yeah, okay, for sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe you get him another, 50 something pitches like you did in Akron, but I think, you bring him, I think he'll be back, within the 2 weeks.
yeah,
It's just something that, like, I mean, we talk about with every baseball injury. It's like you don't want to push. You don't want to push,
no,
where he's at, because I mean, we know our pitching situation. So he comes back and he shits the bed or gets hurt again. It's like, well, look what we did wrong. So
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, our pitching situation is not great.
I felt
We
bad for
have
Tristan McKenzie in this game right now, dude. I feel bad for him.
God. I, when Vladdy hit his dinger in the first inning, when that first pitch was low and outside, I said, "There's no way they're gonna let Tristan pitch to Vlad." And that second pitch was a fucking 90-mile-an-hour fastball down the fucking middle. I'm like, it's hard to be mad because fuck, that's gone. Um, but yeah, it's hard to be mad at him because I mean, we know his situation. We know that his arm is fucked up. He should have gotten the surgery in the offseason. Because now it's not necessarily that I'm pissed off at him. I'm more so pissed off at like who was he talking to when it was talks of okay, we either have to get your surgery or see how it plays out because now he's going to get sent down and he's going to be getting meaningless reps because they're not going to bring him back up. His arm is fucked. Like
I
his
was gonna say, where do you think they sent him down to?
you send him down. I don't know. I mean, you send him down to AAA. I mean, this is where the term quadruple A player is. Like this was like Oscar Gonzalez is a quadruple A player. He is too good to be playing in AAA, but he is not good enough to be playing in the majors. So like he'll just go back and forth until he runs out of transfers or call ups, I should say. Um, I don't care where you send him. You have to. Tristan McKenzie is getting Gavin Williams reps. Gavin Williams is not quite ready. I think he probably gets one more where they probably give him 80 to see where he's at. Um, but when Tristan McKenzie can't go more than 4,
That's
not
a
good.
problem.
That's not good. He was at 75 pitches in the fourth, I believe.
Yeah.
That's not good. Obviously, we all know that. Um, and it is incredibly unfortunate because the Tristan McKenzie that we saw not last year because he was hurt last year, but the Tristan McKenzie that we saw before that was lights out. That was when when you, Paul, and I were all talking about the pitching rotation that we were going to have this year. Bieber's done. So, not good. You we were thinking, shit. We were thinking about having Shane Bieber, Tanner Bybee, Gavin Williams, Tristan McKenzie, and Logan Allen. Those were going to be your 5 guys. You're down Tristan McKenzie and Shane Bieber. Tristan McKenzie obviously is still pitching, but that's not the Tristan McKenzie that we need. So you are down to Tanner Bybee, your ace, which he is pitching his ass off. You have Logan Allen, who is either good or shit. You have Carrasco, who has had one good start this year, and Ben Lively. So if the organization is serious about making a run, then you have to go get a pitcher. Have to. Because Gavin Williams, we don't know what Gavin Williams is going to look like. We have the Tanner Bybee that we're seeing right now is not the Tanner Bybee that we started the season off with. I would say, obviously, he has grown into the role that he is now. But he started off rocky, and Ben Lively pitched a good game yesterday. But yeah, you can't make a run with 2 good pitchers. If Gavin Williams comes up and we get ourselves a good, like a serviceable third starter, I still want to trade for a starting pitcher because you obviously in the playoffs, like you don't want a pitcher to go like more than 5, and that's where like a good bullpen, which granted we have one of the best bullpens in baseball. That's where a good bullpen comes in, but we're not in October. We're in the regular season. You need a pitcher to go 6 or 7, and to have a pitcher go 6 is like standing round of applause. It's like, holy shit, we just had a pitcher go 6. Yeah, I would like to see a pitcher go 7, maybe 8. And that's where Shane Bieber comes in. You definitely would have Shane going 7, 8 whenever he starts. You need to go get a starting pitcher. But I mean, when you think about what this organization has done in the past with their money, I don't want to say it, but like we probably aren't going to go out and get anyone.
You know what I say we do with our money, though? Like, we're going to talk a little bit of the future. Let's talk after, I guess, let's say when the season's over. I think, well, everyone says it. If you go on Twitter, you extend Stephen Kwan.
Yeah.
And and then Stephen Kwan was the big one for sure.
So at beginning of the year, like the first half, like I would say the first quarter of the year, you really wanted to extend Stephen Kwan. You really want to extend Josh Naylor, which now I would say Josh is probably one of our biggest assets when it comes to trade. And I say that simply because he is, I wouldn't say he's incredibly consistent, but when it comes to, okay, we have to make a run, you have to say who is obviously I don't want to trade Josh. I think he is a big part when it comes to making a run.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to say, okay, Josh Naylor for a good starting pitcher, I take that because you have David Fry who can play first base. You have Daniel Schneemann who can play
anything.
Anything. You have guys like you could have Kyle Mangiardo come back up to play first base. I say we have some good bats right. Oh, Rodriguez, he's got to go down. Yeah, this is you have to make sacrifices to bring in good pieces, and I think unfortunately, I would say Josh Naylor could be a possible victim at the deadline.
Yeah, I don't really see him going though, but like
I don't see it.
I see your point though. Like he is definitely the biggest asset when it comes to getting what we need, which is a starting pitcher. But I think the organization's pretty happy with Josh right now.
I think he probably stays.
I mean, yeah, I think he stays. I know we're all pretty happy with him. I mean, love that dude. I love his fucking energy that dude brings. I mean,
Absolutely.
I made a birthday
Absolutely.
post for him yesterday. It was literally the fucking video of headbutting Tito, dude, just straight up. And I'm like, it's the type of shit that you need on a baseball team. It's
I
something that you don't see all the time, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm with you on that 100%. I don't want to trade him. I think um he comes in clutch a lot. I
Yeah,
think so. There are untouchables on this team. Obviously, Kwan's untouchable. Jose is untouchable. Kwan will get his extent. God, I hope he gets an extension.
I sure hope so.
I think Will Brennan can probably. I would. I think he's also trade bait. He's another asset that you could trade. I think you could probably we have prospects. Like I think I would hate to say it, but like Chase DeLautner could probably be traded. He is very injury prone, but he also still holds that first pick value. He just we you haven't seen him. We haven't seen him. Um, this is going to be a very interesting trade deadline. I feel like this is the most interesting trade deadline that we have had because we are like contenders and we need to make a move. But yeah, so back to your original point, Kwan 100% probably gets an extension. I would like to see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, isn't really anyone that I'm like you absolutely have to keep them because like I was all in for Oscar Gonzalez last year. And then so like and he was not a good baseball player. So I think when it comes to it, look whose OPS is the best and try not to send them anywhere. Try to keep them. I think yeah, David Fry probably let's try to keep him. I think Tyler Freeman might be a good piece to catch just to keep just because he's a good center fielder. You have to get his offense better. You have to get his bat better. And it seems that we are developing hitters now. So there are pieces that we can definitely keep here. And if you don't get anyone at the trade deadline and you want to run with this, I'm not necessarily like the most comfortable with it simply because of where we're at pitching wise. But hitting wise, I
Pretty
mean,
comfortable.
we're hitting okay. You have to see like who else we bring up. We have prospects that are hitting really well, but you can't even gauge that because AAA pitching is not pitching. So not MLB pitching. Got to see what happens. But yeah, so we've got some important stuff coming up um, starting tomorrow. We have obviously, like we said, we have the Orioles, and then we go to Kansas City for 4 games. Then we come back here, I think, for the White Sox, which not worried. And then we play San Francisco, which I'm not too worried about them either. Uh, and then you go to Detroit for 4 games. Not worried about Detroit. You go to Tampa for 3 games. Um, yeah, I'm not really worried about them either. And then you get a break for the All Star game. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4 days off. Um, after for the before the All Star game, you count as a break for the rest of the team, and then you get 2 days, and then you go right back into it. Going to San Diego comes here, which that is a team that I actually they're pitching. What is it? Paul Skeens is pretty goddamn good, so you got to look out for him. And then Detroit again. We play Philly, which, yeah, that's going to be interesting. We play Philly in Philly. They're playing really well right now. Not a shocker at all. And then I will be in Detroit for my birthday for the Tigers game. While you got out of that with only 2 runs, that's actually pretty impressive. That pitcher will never see the mound again this game. And then you play Baltimore again. You go, but that is here. You play Arizona for 3 games, and then you get another break. So, like, we are ripping some games out of there with like 2 breaks. So that is some tough baseball. But I think we'll be okay. But
Yeah.
all in all, I think this team is up for the challenge. I think we're pretty solid team. You're going to want to add 2 more pieces to this with the trade deadline. And I'm not really going to speak on the trade deadline when it comes to the baseball trade deadline. I'm not going to bullshit anything when it comes to that. I know what this team needs. I don't know who we're going to get. So if you want to listen to in-depth draft analysis, I suggest listening to the Locked On Guards podcast. They do daily podcasts. That's where I'm getting a lot of my trade pieces from other teams. So if you want to learn more about that, go ahead and listen to that. But with that being said, it is getting kind of close to some training camp.
Just got
Only
done with the voluntary or the mini camps or
Yeah,
whatever.
just ended the mandatory mini camps. Um, we haven't really been a team that has a player that holds out. So like kind of uncomfortable with the situation. And especially now that they're talking Brandon Ayuk. Um, where do you stand on this? Because we haven't really talked about football. We've been pretty heavy on baseball. So where do you stand on the whole Brandon Ayuk versus Amari Cooper?
I mean, if you want me to really pick between one or the other, I say we got to keep Cooper. But I mean, I think we all know what Cooper is looking. I mean, obviously he wants that extension, but it's a matter of how much he wants. When we're comparing it to like Jerry Judy, who he gave the extension to. But you also got to think about Amari Cooper. He just turned 30, so he's getting up there.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, you can't give him a contract like I mean, like any of these other big name receivers who've gotten like the big contracts just because of his age, honestly. Like, I mean, who know? I mean, I'm not saying he's fallen off. I think he's still, I mean, the best route runner, one of the best route runners in the league. And
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
I think he's the best receiver in the AFC North. I mean, to be honest, I mean, his numbers show, honestly, his stats show. And,
Oh, damn. Daniel Schneemann with some fucking
ooh,
speed.
he does. That dude does have some speed. But overall, I mean, I think you got to give Coop the extension. I know Andrew Berry and Stefanski. I know it's like an everyday thing that they're working around and talking about. It's just a matter of how much he's asking for, and honestly, we'll see how long we extend him here for. I think if we do give him an extension, it's going to be like a 2-3 year extension, and then
2 or 3. Interesting. Okay.
I say maybe two, but like I said, he's we gave Judy the 3 years, so I think maybe you give him two, but I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to leave here. Like I think we're starting. Like I mean, we've got all the pieces around us. Why would he want to leave here? So
Yeah. No, I mean, between Ayuk and Cooper, I'm keeping Amari Cooper. I
mhm.
think when it comes to it, which it might come down to, training camp. I hope it's before that. But I think you probably max 2 years for Cooper. He is getting up there in age, a 30-year-old receiver. Yes, he runs really good routes, but you will lose your speed. Um, Brandon Ayuk is a good wide receiver. He just wants too much money. So I think that he is out of the conversation when it comes to um,
Cleveland, him
when it
coming here.
comes to Cleveland. You have to look at culture too. The culture and is big in any sport. I mean, we just talked about it. Josh Naylor is great for the culture of this baseball team. Amari Cooper is great for the culture of the wide receiver room. He is the Nick Chubb of the wide receiver room.
Seriously.
And we have seen that he has played a big part in the wide receiver culture. And I think with all these young wide receivers, I think it would be really nice to have Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper in the same room. We haven't seen Jerry Jeudy on this team yet. We have seen Jerry Jeudy with like bad quarterback play in Denver.
Bad
And
quarterback play, and I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Cleveland and some, well, not recently to be honest with you, but like coaching changes like almost every year in Denver.
yeah,
So
yeah. So you have to, I really want to see those two together. I think you have to figure something out. I mean, it's hard to talk money because we spent a lot of money on someone that hasn't necessarily delivered. So there's not a lot of money to
to go
throw
off
out.
of to go off of that one though, he's getting a lot of praise from the national media though recently. Like people, like I mean, I just saw on Twitter earlier today, like ESPN and SportsCenter are both predicting Deshaun Watson to have a year like he did in 2020.
God,
And
I hope so.
to be honest with you guys, I mean, for many people who don't like to hear it, before he got hurt last year, he was definitely like slowly getting on
He
that
was
path.
he was getting up there. He
Like
was starting to deliver, and this is a really hard shoulder injury to come back from.
yep. Which is, I mean, from what we've heard though, I mean, he's on the right track to recovery. We've seen him throw at mini camp. We've seen him throw the ball. We've also seen him take his days off, which obviously you're not going to throw him out there every day. He's still in the
Yeah,
recovery process. But I mean, Andrew Berry and Stefanski have both said like he's there week one. I mean, he's on the right track. I think, how much are we going to see him in preseason? Probably not too much, just
I hope we
because
don't see him at all in
I
preseason.
I hope we don't at all. And to be honest with you, if we did, I hope you see him hand the ball off once to Jerome Ford, and that's about it or something. But
Yeah,
I really think, yeah, you got to hold him out of. I mean, you got to hold him out till week one. But I mean, he's on the right track. I mean, it's definitely his injury was definitely tough. It's the toughest, one of the tougher ones. But I mean, I'm just glad. I mean, he's been working at it though. Everyone sees all his stuff out there. So
yeah. I think coming off of this shoulder injury is going to be really tough. No one has ever fully recovered from the shoulder injury that he has or that he had. I mean, realistically, you can win a Super Bowl with a game managing quarterback. And if this injury turns him into a game manager, fine, but we didn't sign for a game manager, so I would like to see, you know, we we signed a, you know, pocket aware quarterback. We signed someone that can scramble out and make plays on, out of nothing. When he was with Houston, he did a lot of cool shit and um might not necessarily like the guy, but he's still the quarterback of my football team, and I like the team. So I would like to see my team succeed. Um, and I hope we can. You have to bring in a lot of factors too. I mean, this is a very run heavy offense, and there is a certain someone that is also uh, doing well with his recovery, and that is Nicholas Jamal Chubb. We saw on his Instagram not too long ago that he is progressing. We tweeted about it. If you want to go, I'm pretty sure it's still our pinned tweet on the on the podcast page. So go take a look at that and like it. Um, but you have to see where you're at. I think, talking football in June is such a hard thing to do because you don't know where any of these guys are going to be at come August. And we'll see. I really hope we can get something done with Amari Cooper before then. And I'm still kind of pissed off that we gave Jerry Jeudy the extension so soon.
I can
I was
understand, but I can also see like why people are mad about it. I mean, like in all honesty, like Andrew Berry's wanted him for years.
yeah.
Honestly, I think he wanted to draft him when he was coming out of Bama, which is also something to bring up about. Like we got two Alabama, I mean, former Alabama receivers now who like the amount of guys that honestly not even just receivers, just like guys from Bama in general. I feel like we're starting to turn to a Bama team almost, an
Low
SEC.
key, yeah, we are a very SEC heavy team. Um, yeah, you've got two Bama receivers on the roster. Um, you have a Bama left tackle. Let's see who else is from Alabama. I mean, just off the top of my head, you have three. You have three Bama guys right there. I'm surprised we're not more of a Ohio State or a Big Ten drafting team. But fuck, the SEC is loaded. So
Superior.
if that's where they're coming from, then go get them out of the SEC. Um, you've got good wide receivers out of the Big Ten, but you still have good wide receivers out of the SEC. DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State, baller. Mike Hall, good depth piece. You have Zach Zinter, Big Ten, good depth piece. That offensive line is just with those two on it are going to be great. Hopefully, Jed Wills can be like a
This is
good
his year.
complement to DeJuan Jones. Yeah, I think this could be a very important year for him for sure. I hope it's his year because this is probably the year where you say you're either sticking with him or you're not.
Exactly.
So you have to see what happens with that. Um, but let's talk about this defense too. Obviously, again, it's June. It's hard to talk about these guys right now. You don't know what they're going to look like in August. So don't come at me for saying that guys look explosive in June. Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa looks like a fucking madman.
Just looking like right where he left off, honestly, at the end of the year last year. If I mean, and even better, dude. Like it's insane.
I'm so excited to see what this defense can do.
I mean, the
You've
nice
got
thing. Oh, go ahead.
no you. What's up?
Oh, I was gonna say the nice thing with the defense is that we're returning a lot of guys. Like, I mean,
Exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah,
obviously the big one we're missing is, or that we lost. Not even the big one. I'm not really that mad. Is Anthony Walker Jr. He was hurt a lot, but I mean,
yeah,
he was a good leader. But I mean, overall, you're returning majority of your 11, your starting 11 on
yeah. There's
defense.
not a lot of turnover, which is really good, really good. Like, yes, Anthony Walker not coming back. I feel like Anthony Walker was good from a standpoint of veteran leadership. I feel like he was good for all those young guys that we have. But we are getting into the league where those like Cam Chancellor type linebackers, like Bobby Wagner type linebackers.
Who's that guy that who we got from Minnesota? What's the older guy? Jordan
Yeah,
Hickson.
yeah,
So I mean, he's just filling in a spot, really.
yeah. And it sucks that we lost Taki Taki. I was really, really starting to like Taki Taki, which you know you're not going to keep everyone. I mean, being on paper the number two defense. Um, Obviously, we saw a lot of reasons why they weren't the number one defense last year. When it came down to crunch time, a lot of our guys folded.
Greg.
But it's, you know, let's not let's not call anyone out.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah,
Sorry, Greg.
I think our cornerback room, there is someone in there that I would like to see perform a little better this year.
Greg Newsom.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to see Greg perform a little better.
More consistent, to be honest. I mean, like
Needs to be more consistent.
he has
Needs
his
to.
moments. Like he had the pick six in Baltimore. Like he's had his good. Like I mean, San Francisco, he played well. Like
Yeah.
came to the
And
playoffs.
that's where I think like Martin Emerson is what I want Greg Newsome to be. Martin Emerson is a really solid number 2 option. And I think Martin Emerson needs to turn into a number 1 option. Denzel Ward is getting a little older. We have seen he got banged up a little bit last year. He was still on the field a decent amount,
More
but
than
he's
we've
getting a
seen in
little.
the years past, honestly.
Yeah, he's getting banged up, and you're gonna have to have a good like a true number 1 corner alongside. I'm not saying Denzel Ward's not a true number 1 corner. He is. I am saying you need another number 1 corner next to him just in case. And I need to see Greg Newsome fall into that true number 2. Lockdown on the lake needs to be truly locked down on the lake because the AFC North is loaded. Loaded.
Shit,
So
there's a reason why they're going to be on fucking Hard Knocks this year.
can't
So
wait for that, dude. We're going to have. I'll talk to you about this idea that I just had after this. But yeah, so you need true number 2 in Greg Newsome. Hopefully we get that. And yeah, not a lot of turnover on this defense. Obviously, you got Big Z to come back. So you have Zadarius Smith on the other side of Myles Garrett, and that defensive line only just got stronger with more depth.
you resigned everyone. I mean, we got
Damn
back
near.
Hurst.
Yeah.
Shelby Harris is back. I'm pretty sure. Like we
Yep.
drafted Michael Hall. You still, I mean, we still got all those guys that you need there. So
You have good depth on your defensive line, and that's what you need. You need depth. Okay, I'm gonna go to Michigan because I'm a Michigan man. I watched a lot of Michigan games. Michigan's defensive line was so good because that you could constantly rotate guys. If you can mimic that in the NFL with a 52-man roster, you will never have a tired defensive line. And having depth like this in a defensive line, obviously you want to make sure you can have depth everywhere else. But when it comes to the AFC North, which is a goodbye, Stephen Kwan, 2 home run, good. Oh, is that gone? Hold on. Timeout on the Browns talk for a second. Got to see if this ball's gone. What side of the pole did that go? Oh, damn. Just foul. That's unfortunate. But yeah, so you want to make sure you can put depth in pieces where it's smart to have depth. Obviously, defensive line in the AFC North is pretty important. Lots of running backs in this division. And stopping the run and making them throw is in this division, you like that because the Steelers don't have a fucking quarterback. The Cincinnati Bengals have a banged up Joe Burrow. We know that Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, but we own that son of a bitch. And Lamar Jackson is, I mean, he's a good
MVP.
quarterback. I'm not gonna. I can't knock him. He's an MVP. I can't knock the MVP quarterback. But of the quarterbacks that are in this division, I would say the competition is Lamar Jackson. So you have to lock him down. Obviously, we know what kind of quarterback Lamar Jackson is, and if that is something that teams have always struggled against, is making Lamar Jackson stay in the backfield. That's something that as a team you're going to have to figure out. And the past couple years, like the past couple times we've played him, we have figured that out. We have kind of kept him. You can't really keep him under control because Lamar Jackson just figures things out. But from a standpoint of what other teams haven't been able to do, we've been able to do it pretty well. And that's why drafting Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was such a big a big piece for that because he is the Lamar Jackson spy. You know what I think is kind of funny too is that when we first drafted JOK, no one could say his name, and now that shit just runs off of your tongue. So
Yeah,
it's like it's honestly it's pretty crazy how quickly that did, because I mean he's a good player, so you're saying his name a lot. And as we're talking about more football, dude, I am just so ready to start doing those pick 'em episodes and you know uh week one recaps and recaps after games and doing all this stuff. Obviously, yes, I'm going to enjoy summer. I'm going to enjoy baseball. We're going to talk a lot of baseball. Shit, we spent the first 35, 40 minutes talking baseball. But this is it's a football podcast. So
Cleveland
we're
is a football town in
yeah,
general.
we're doing our
The tweets
best.
show it. The tweets show it, people. Every time we post about the Browns, it tends to get more interaction than the guards or Cavs. That is a proven.
We'll post the analytics. I'll drop that shit right now. The analytics show that this is a football town. So obviously, we weren't really sure how well we were going to do when it came to talking baseball. And I think we've been, I mean, you guys let us know, but I think we've been doing a pretty good job talking baseball. Two guys that, know
More about
football like the
than
back of
anything.
their hand. Bullshitting about baseball for 40 minutes. It's pretty hard. but we're doing it. We're doing the best. But yeah, so obviously, baseball is the talk of our show right now. Have to, especially with the team being so good. But now that we're getting, closer and closer to what the fuck? Training
Yeah, I
camp.
will say though,
Jesus Christ.
once we, we'll get some NBA news here. I'm sure coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, now that the season's over.
regarding the Cavs head coaching search and
Donovan
extending
Mitchell.
extending him. So yeah,
Yeah. Got to see what happens there as well. He had stated that he wants to keep Jared Allen as a teammate. So we'll see what happens there. We did see that Evan Mobley plays better without Jared Allen. So this could be a very interesting offseason. I'm sorry, but if Evan Mobley plays better without Jared Allen and Jared Allen is the better of the two, one of them's got to go, and it's not going to be Jared Allen.
especially if you want to keep your star player on the team. So
Yeah. I think you probably run it back one more year with the same core, with a new coach, and see what happens. Everyone is saying that Mitchell's going to get that max. So you give him a max for 3 years is what they're saying. Run it back with the same core or whatever coach we get. We escaped the JJ Redick hire. I was kind of wanting JJ Redick, but at the same time, I was like, the only reason I want JJ Redick is because that would probably bring LeBron here, which JJ Redick going to LA probably means that the LeBron watch is over. And then you run it back with this core. You go find yourself a coach. I did a little more research since the last episode that I talked about coaching and the coaching search. I would like the assistant from the Pelicans, and that's all I'm saying about that. Because don't know shit about the coaches in the NBA.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know much. I have seen stuff about who's the guy that just got fired by Detroit, Monty Williams. I don't. And people are saying Cleveland. I'm like, dude, like he had a bad.
No.
He fell off a bit in Phoenix, and then see what happened with him in Detroit. And it's just
Yeah.
like let's go find someone who Donovan Mitchell wants. Let's just go see. Because I mean, like, not who he wants, but like you got to find someone who
No.
works
You
well
got to
with him.
give him the fucking LeBron treatment. he is the player on this team right now, and you need to give him someone that he thinks is going to help him, but you also need to find someone that is going to be a player's coach and that is going to develop these guys. I want to give, JB Bickerstaff a little credit for developing Evan Mobley a little bit, not as much as I'd like to see, which is why he got fired. But I also want to give him a big fuck you because he was talking mad shit about Jared Allen on this fucking podcast. Um, Fuck you. I mean, like, how are you? Your guy, Jared Allen, fucked up his ribs. Okay, he couldn't play. And then he wants to go talk shit and say that Luka got shots in his ribs and he wasn't complaining about playing. Dude, how are you about to fucking talk shit when you run the same fucking offense every single game?
Seriously.
There's reasons you got fired. Your offense sucks. You don't know how to develop players and don't really think anyone in that locker room had respect for you because you know what he was really good at was losing his voice and yelling at the refs. That's the only thing, or I guess the officials. That's the only thing that he was good at. Yeah, JB Bickerstaff, your time in Cleveland was an interesting one, and I'm happy you're gone because I called for your head last season and I gave you too much credit this season. So from the What's Up 216 pod, fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck you. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, honestly, with him, or not with him, but with our coaching. I mean, I don't know shit, to be honest with you. I'm just scrolling on Twitter just like everybody else is about this.
Oh
So
yeah.
we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll see something within, the next month or coming weeks or so.
Yeah,
So
you should. This should be a very interesting next couple weeks because obviously like nothing can really happen. I think it's like July is when they can start like announcing that stuff, but now they can start engaging in
mhm.
contract talks. So you're yeah, keep an eye out for, obviously everyone's gonna be tweeting leak like I have a leak about this and I have sources say this, but nothing is going to be official until July. So take everything you see with a grain of salt. Um, but with that being said, this has been What's Up 216 with Mr. F. No, this is
No.
this has been What's Up 216 with Kevin Merrick and Jacob Brickman. We really appreciate you guys for following the Twitters. Yeah, I guess that makes sense for following our Twitter and the podcast Twitter. Really appreciate that. Jake put some work into those tweets. Obviously, he is um, pretty pretty involved with that. So go ahead and go and give him a follow on his personal and the pod page as well. Go ahead and give me a follow. I'm not necessarily as active on Twitter, but I still post some bangers on there. Go ahead and follow our Instagrams, TikTok as well. We'll be posting some more stuff on there because we just found that CapCut is actually a reliable way to make clips for TikTok. So gonna see what happens. But yeah, as always, thanks for listening. Go ahead and share this with your friends, family,
Your wives.
maybe yeah, maybe even, that little old lady across the street that just wants to learn more about Cleveland sports. But with
Mm.
that being said, Jake, anything else to add?
Nailed it. No, I mean, we're gonna be talking. There's gonna be a lot of new stuff coming out here soon. I mean, guards keep coming up, Browns are coming up. Keep an eye out for all that stuff. Follow our social medias. We haven't been as consistent, but I mean, like, there's a lot going on. I mean, this isn't a full-time thing for us, so we
Not
appreciate
in any sort of means is this
we
full.
appreciate the very few listeners that cooperate.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we're not as consistent as we would like to be. I mean that's on both of us just having a life. I mean, it's like we're all very, we're busy, but we try to, get these out. That's why we're still like super active on the social medias, because that's another thing that we want to grow. And you can always go back and listen to old episodes too. There's still some bangers out there. Um, but yeah, we're gonna try to be more consistent. And to end the episode, let's see how bad I'm pitting. Oh,
Mm.
oh,
Oh, that one's getting clipped.
oh my god. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. We do, we're working hard to figure this thing out for you guys. Just trying to get around his schedule, my schedule, trying to make our schedules line up is not the easiest thing in the world. So, obviously we put these out for you guys. But yeah, sorry we're not as consistent as we'd like to be. But Twitter's cool. So yeah, we're just doing this for fun, really. So if anyone wants to sponsor the show, obviously we'll take it up a notch. But yeah, let us know. We're always open. Maybe like Cleveland Guardians, Bally Sports, Browns,
GV Artwork,
GV Art, Cleveland Clothing. I just tweeted at you. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. Dude, we just broke the hour mark. Let's go. This episode is brought to you by my pit stains. We will see you next week with another banger episode. Peace out, gang.
Peace.